Good morning. I really need to do my gratitude journal, like first thing this morning. I had a long day yesterday, helping my neighbor with her yard work. Just like 5 hours out there with not really the right equipment, and just making it work and just pushing through. I mean, it was a really good workout. I just kicked my tail. I can't believe I'm saying that. Nothing used to bother me like that. Had an impact, I guess, is one thing. Man, I need to start thinking of positive things instead of how difficult it was and how it didn't work out and how I was taken advantage of. But that lady needed help, and I helped her. And I needed that workout. I'm sure that's going to be really good for me as soon as my body recovers. No, it's going to be really helpful. And also, my kids are coming this weekend, so I get to look for something to do. And most of the time when I have my kids, Kennedy's here too, my nephew. And he's an awesome little guy. He's just so cool. And it's great having him. In a way though, it limits what we can do, because Kennedy loves his papa. And so I hate taking them on an adventure, go to some park or camp or whatever. Because Kennedy's not here much. And Papa and Kennedy just have a bond, and so I don't like separating the two. So we hang around the house and we play, and we always have a great time. We have a fantastic time. It's kind of the same thing sometimes, but on a positive note, it's super easy. I mean, when I'm with my kids, it's like the only thing that matters, the only thing that's around is my kids. Wake up and we start playing, and we play until it's time to go to bed, and I'm just with them nonstop, and it's just great to see them and be with them, and hang around Papa's house is just so easy. We can go down to the river, or there's a beach on the river. We can go fishing or kayaking. Lately they like playing on the hammock. It's just a regular hammock strapped up to a couple trees. They lay on it and I swing them like crazy. They're like going just completely side to side, and they'll go like airborne, and they're screaming like, guys, it's a shipwreck or it's a storm at sea, and they have so much fun. I love just the simple things, keeping it simple. And my tennis partner was saying to me the other day, just keep it simple. I like simple things. Doesn't have to be all this drama or complication, or even like technology and whatever. It's just like simple things. Listening to those birds sing their song. I watched Star Trek last night, and you ever see those things and it's like, which one came first? Like Star Trek or the technology we have? Star Trek came out in the 60s or something, I don't know. But like they had the flip phones, and then society had flip phones like in the 90s. And did they find out that technology was being developed? Or maybe the military had it and it was kind of secret, classified, but they found out about it and they incorporated it into their show? Or did their show spark a thought, and then scientists and whatever inventors said, that is really neat, we have to try to make that? Like which one came first? So last night it finally hit me that the captain's log, Stardate, whatever, they're making a video journal, a vlog. They're doing this, and now they're like getting close to almost 1 million hours of content being posted every single day. And not all of it is like this. Some are self-helps, how to change a radiator on your lawnmower or carburetor, how to repair a motorcycle, how to make a shower, renovate your house. There's 1.5 million how-tos out there. And then all the unboxings and stuff. You watch someone else play with the toy My kids, I don't understand why my kids like watching that so much. Like this Ryan character, I'm like, he got a toy. Look at him, he's playing with that toy, and they just watch him and watch him and watch him. And it's like, guys, y'all have that same toy. Why don't you go play with it? They want to watch the screen, and they enjoy playing with toys, so they just combine the two and watch on the screen somebody playing with a toy. It doesn't take any imagination or energy, so it's super easy, and it just like streams in like dopamine. Listening, there are like studies that are out there saying screen time is so closely related to like alcoholism. So like these kids that they're growing up just attached to a screen, well, they're dependent on that substance, on that screen, for coping with life, and they can't really cope with life without it. They're just not developing because they're not experiencing life, and they're experiencing someone else experiencing life, and just don't really learn and grow that way. So I'm always trying to keep my kids off the screen. Whenever the kids were young, when me and my wife and I were still together, we didn't have a TV. We eventually we eventually got a TV because my wife, she was kind of into photography, and so she had this camera from like way back, and I bought her some classes, and then I bought her a computer and a big screen to like set up her office, because she was trying to take pictures and sell the pictures. Some of the pictures were really neat, but I don't know, she just couldn't get them in front of other people or whatever it was, but she just, as far as I know, it didn't take off. It just, the way she is, it could have taken off and just been like the biggest thing, and she would just kind of hit it, because she doesn't like her information to be known. Like, that's all. There was a book of hers I picked up to read, and like in it laid out her strategy of dealing with me. It's like, information is power, so limit the information that you give. Like, I think she kind of did that naturally, but she also did it intentionally. She could have had such a great life. She just couldn't see goodness, can't see joy in anything. So I was thinking about, I need to do my gratitude journal, because I got up and I was still focused on the past. How my wife comes up all the time, I'm still focused on that part of my past. But you can't live in your past. You can't, even just yesterday, it's gone. It impacted you. It infected you. It affected you. Whatever it did, it's gone and over with. And you're not revisiting that in a physical sense, but your mind can revisit that. If it's something that, whatever, you're not happy with, or you're trying to understand something, but it doesn't help. Especially if you revisit that because you're angry at something hurt your feelings, or someone did you wrong, or you're just kind of dwelling on the thing. But 9 times out of 10, spending time in the past, it's not gonna build you up. It's not gonna promote a positive future. It's not gonna promote positive mindset. It's not live your day because you're thinking about something that has already happened that you can't change. And it's easy to understand like why we do that, like thinking about the past, but it's a horrible habit to be in. You're just always thinking about the past. Well, you just end up depressed. It's not a good place to be. But sometimes the future can be scary because the past has been painful. I heard this really kind of successful and positive guy talk yesterday. I was listening to a podcast while I was doing the yard work, and I don't remember who this one was, but he was saying, essentially, the thing you're afraid of is the thing that you should do. Like, if you're afraid of something, you should especially make sure you do it. Oftentimes, the things that we're the most afraid of, they have the greatest return for us. They have the greatest result. They take our lives to a whole new level. But it seems that most of the people, most of the time, run and hide from fear. Like, they might hope for a little bit and get something started, and then as soon as something difficult or unsure or scary comes up, well, they stop and they pivot and they look for something that's just simple and easy, something that doesn't make them afraid, something that's not scary. They look for something that's certain, embracing the day and going after that uncertainty of learning what's out there. And that was like one of the good messages about Star Trek last night. Is like, oh, we're going into the unknown and this can be really scary. But Captain Kirk, he's like, there's not really unknown. It's just what hasn't been discovered yet. In a way, it's like it's nothing really new. Kind of a different version of what we already know. So there's nothing to be scared of. I mean, what is it that we're scared of anyway? When differences or change or unexpected or unknown comes up, like, what is it that we're afraid of? Are we afraid of more pain? Are we afraid of damage to our bodies, our stuff? Are we afraid of loss, losing our stuff? We're afraid of not being accepted or being criticized or ridiculed for what we decide to do. All things seem pretty likely and pretty normal, but I don't know where we really get the foundation for that fear from. Because, I mean, every day there's something to be afraid of, and if you kind of go after that like head on, like you just do your thing anyway and see how it ends up. We have like thousands and thousands of days of experience to say that, well, that fear of pain, that fear of loss, that fear of rejection or whatever, well, vast majority of times those bad things never occurred. So there's not anything to be afraid of. And like, even if something comes up that's challenging, you get into something that it doesn't go your way, causes some stress, it requires some tough decisions, but that's fine, you know. We get to face those tough decisions, and then we get to trust ourselves. We get to realize we can trust ourselves. We can trust ourselves in the difficulty. We can trust ourselves to get through whatever the situation is. Don't have anything to be afraid of. Sorry, I'm looking off over there. I think my fox might be back there. Saw some birds that were going to land, and it's like from underneath the bush, something kind of jumped up to get the bird. I hope it's that fox. I would hate if that fox gets like, caught by animal control and like, euthanized or whatever. It'd be great if they just take him back to his home. I'd be happy for him. But I've researched a little bit on foxes and stuff, and they can make some pretty good pets. They're like not exactly domesticated, but there is like one breed of like domesticated fox. Some website said it costs like $9,000 to get a domesticated fox pet. Right, that would be unique. That would be pretty cool. Right? Some people have wolf pets, and people have squirrel pets, and people have rabbits and dogs and cats. But my buddy at church, he does this like therapy animal thing. I don't like he's getting it started somehow, but he's I don't know the setup. I know he was working on it a while back, and it kind of went sideways on him. His business partners kind of messed him over, but he's starting again. He's going after that challenge again, that opportunity, because he loves animals and he loves people, and he's getting animals to help people. So it's always good to combine some of the things that you love. But at church on Sunday, yesterday was Monday, so a couple days ago, he had an albino kangaroo, like in a little patch, like in a purse type thing. It was to mimic like the mother's pouch or whatever, to mimic the natural behavior, of kangaroos. He was just kind of in there sleeping, and he'd like poke his head out every now and then, and poke his big little three-toed feet and his tail, and I guess he was still pretty young, so he wasn't, getting out and jumping around, but he was just, he's just sleeping most of the time. He's still growing. but he was pretty big, I guess. He was bigger than a full-grown rabbit, maybe about the size of a house cat. He's one individual that he's facing his fears. He's facing the unknown. He's willing to accept that life is gonna have some difficulties, but life isn't over. You keep working through these difficulties, and you overcome these little challenges and stuff, and life becomes beautiful. Life becomes what you've dreamed about. Your dreams come true when you face challenges and obstacles and keep on pushing through. Find a way through it. Finding a way through these obstacles, these opportunities. It makes us better people. It makes us satisfied and maybe fulfilled, maybe not quite to that point, but it's how we build confidence in ourselves. By facing that fear, by facing that unknown, especially in the spiritual realm of things, like you feel God is telling you to do something. You're not really sure what it is, but because there's no way to prove what God wants you to do. Like there's never like a personal note written to you, like placed under your pillow, like, today I want you to do this, or I want you to quit your job and to go after this other thing, or it's never like that. But God will ask you to do some really big, really unusual, crazy things, and you have to do so in faith, meaning that you have to believe that God is in control and has authority to make things work out for you, and that God is working things out for your good. That God has your good in mind, and you might not see it. You might not see how it's going to work. You might not understand how it could possibly work. It may make no sense to you, but you just have to do it anyway, and trust, in faith, having such faith and belief that God is real, that God is good, and that God is going to take care of you, and that you may believing that God is powerful enough and creative enough that he can get your attention and he can get whatever message he wants to you at whatever time. And that when you step out in faith away from what is your current known into something that's unknown, it just doesn't make sense. God is good enough and in control and has enough authority to take care of you while you're going through this unknown season. While you're finding out what God was calling you to. People, we like to be in control. We like to know what the result's going to be. We like to just prepare and do focus groups and ask everybody around us, hey, what's going to happen here? Is this a good idea? Do you think this is a good idea? No, I think this is what God's wants me to do, but do you think it's a good idea? We're just trying to reason it out as best as we can. That's how everything in this world tells us it works. But it's not how God works. It's not how a lot of desires work. It's not how your spirit works. It might be drawing you to something new. God might be calling you and pushing you, hey, you dreamed about this thing since you were a little kid, and now it's time to do it. And you're established in life. You have the job that all set up, and you have a reliable income, and you have stuff that you can trust that's going to come in and take care of you. You're trusting in your job to provide everything for you, and then you can tell all your friends and family that you're self-sufficient, that you're providing for your family, and mean, all those things are great. They're fine. It's what the world tells us to have. But sometimes God calls us out, especially when we're seeking Him. We're like, God, what do you want me to do? He's like, well, you've created this whole life for yourself that I didn't have intended for you. It's like, yeah, I intend to provide for you. I intend for you to be self-sufficient, and I intend for you to be able to provide for your family and to have nice things, because I love you, and of course I want you to have those good things. But the path you chose, the job you chose, the career, the location, the company, the education, God might say, well, I didn't plan those good things for you from these things in this manner. Like all that stuff, that was just your choice. In order for you to live the greatest life you can live and to have the most fulfillment, well, you need to get rid of all that other stuff, and you need to follow me. And like, God will tell you to do something. I want you to leave that company, or that, even if it's noble and a nonprofit, it's doing good work, but sometimes God will call you away from that. It's like, okay, well, it's time for you to leave that one. And you kind of start wrestling and reasoning with it. You're like, well, God, but it's so easy, and I have a passion for what they do, and it's a good group and a good purpose, and it's right here, and it fits, and it checks all the boxes. But God's like, nope, that company's not for you anymore. And sometimes those friends aren't for you anymore. I mean, they were there for a season, but it's time to move on. So being able to identify what it is that God wants you to do, or accepting what He's already asked you to do. He tells us to do things because they're going to be for our good, because it's going to create such a great result, and it's going to be amazingly fulfilling to us. God doesn't do it to be harsh or to take anything away. God's loving, and He's always taking care of us, and He just wants us to trust Him. And that's like one definition of faith. Trusting in what you can't see, trusting in a path, a journey that you don't really understand, that's not going the way that you expected it to go, but God is saying, this is it. Learn to depend on me. Faith has to be exercised and has to be built and developed, and it's not something that just happens. It's not something you just wake up and have one day, but faith is like confidence in God. Confidence in yourself, you have to face something and then overcome it, and then you have confidence in yourself. And like the same thing with following God. You hear God say something and you step out and you do it, and you're like, man, that was amazing. Well, you stepped out in faith, but now your faith has grown because you have additional confidence in God. You took that opportunity, and you were vulnerable enough and willing enough to do something. And in that doing, you learned that you could trust. And you learned confidence. Confidence in God. You're learning faith. Your faith is growing. So there was this other podcast I was listening to yesterday. They were talking about, especially in the self-help genre of books and speakers and stuff, that it is really where what people speak on and teach on and what they become experts in, like that's the thing they needed help with the most. Like there was a time in their life where they were not in a place they wanted to be. And the thing that they identified that was their challenge and their pain, and the thing that they needed to work on the most, well, they start working on it. And like, they realize that other people need help in that same area. So they start sharing their experiences, and write books and seminars, and they do all these things, but really it's from someone's difficulty, from their struggle, their life really comes alive, and it becomes their service to others. What a beautiful thing that is. You know, on some level, sometimes you think, oh, well, they need help on that. They can't be a teacher in that, or they shouldn't be a teacher. But the same old adage that to learn something the most, you teach it. It's like in the teaching, it's when you become an expert. So kind of taking that frame and like putting that on our lives, on our challenge, on our thing we're afraid of, like, should be encouraging. Like, you don't know what's coming around the corner, but you know, you have an urge, you have a faith that like God is pushing you to a new direction. God is pushing you to that new thing. God is pushing you to that, it's really old thing, but it's new to you because you had given up on it. But God is pushing you back towards that. Like, that's the thing that is going to make you come alive. That's the thing that's going to give you the most fulfillment. So hopefully we can have the mindset of being excited about that struggle, about that difficulty, because that challenge is going to build confidence, our own self-confidence. Stepping out in faith and following God with doing that thing, that's going to give us confidence and build our faith in God. And facing that challenge, that difficulty, that unsureness, that the thing where, you know, we don't know what the result's going to be. It's kind of unexpected, uncontrolled, but facing that and overcoming that and succeeding in that, like, that's the thing that's going to give us life all the way around. And facing that challenge is a thing that it's going to build up other people, and that's going to be the thing that you're going to succeed in. Like, that you're going to become an expert in that, and you're going to see how other people need what you've just created, or they need to go through that pain to become the full person that they're meant to be, to really find and experience the person that God intended them to be. That thing, it can be our service. It can be our service to others. And then when you're serving others, man, you're loving others. You're loving others through your service. And that's where a person really finds fulfillment. And they realize, you know, it's not all about me. It's about others. It's not about me, you know, earning recognition, but giving recognition. It's not about me taking and receiving love. It's about me giving love. It's like love is one of the few things you can't run out of if you use it. Love is, the more you use it, the more you have. But the less you use it, the less you have. If you don't have love for yourself, if you have a hard time appreciating yourself, well, you're going to keep finding reasons why you don't deserve love, and eventually it will diminish and it'll run out. But if you engage yourself in serving other people, or you frame what you do as a service to other people, as something that benefits other people, like, that's what we were wired for. We were wired for helping other people. And so we give of ourselves. We're giving love, and our own love grows and grows and grows. It's getting bigger and bigger. And then it just overflows. It just naturally naturally impacts everybody around us. What a great society that would be to live in. A society where everybody is so fulfilled. They're so full of love, like for themselves, and it overflows. That love is for other people. When people are just doing random kind things for each other, where people are actually around each other, like interacting. People put themselves out there to serve. It's like a whole new world where people give of themselves instead of just being so concerned about just taking and taking. They feel empty inside, so they think they have to take more, and they're just completely lost and miserable people. It's so sad that people become that way. So sad when people just become hollow, just broken. Maybe I'm empathetic because I've been there. You know, I know that it promises a lot, but then it's empty. Like you never have enough. It's something like where you always have to take more and more and more and more to be somewhat satisfied. That should be a reminder, an alert, an alarm that you're chasing the wrong goal. Like you don't know why you're chasing that goal. But if your goals make you excited, or if the results of your goals make you excited and make you happy, make you a more pleasant person to be around, makes you want to be around people more, makes you believe in God more, builds your faith and your trust in God and people around you, that's a worthy endeavor. That is something worth pursuing. Maybe pursue that today. Like examine ourselves and go after that. What stories we would have. What impact we would make. It's going out and doing these beautiful, kind things. Just helping and loving each other. We want to see our society change for the good. And show other people they're worthy of love. Show other people they're worthy of your time. Show other people that you are willing to love them, that God through you loves them. Love is the thing that all people are looking for all the time. Maybe there are different forms of love. There's acceptance and encouragement. There's trust and belief. There's kindness and gentleness and forgiveness. There's grace. Overlooking a wrong. Serving other people, help them overcome their challenges. There's so many types of love. Let us go out and give away that form of love that we need the most. When we give it away, we'll have more than we can ever use. Remember, the more love you give away, the more love grows from within you. The more love swells up and overflows. Love is not something to be hoarded or hidden. The Bible says what you have freely received, you are to freely give that thing. That love is a free gift. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything, but when you give it away, man, it makes the biggest difference. Let us be a loving people. Let Christians really reflect Jesus and show love to people around us. Let us live the words that we preach. And the higher up you are in a church, the more important it is for you to do this. These pastors don't have a great reputation right now. Denominations don't have a great reputation. Religion as a whole doesn't have a great reputation. Could it be that you're hoarding love? Could be. Well, I hope you have a great day. God bless.